In this lesson, I want to jump in and highlight queries. Now, I do want to preface this lesson by saying that I would consider it optional. And the main reason I say that is that I just want to be candid with you. I don't really use queries at all in my personal graph. I think once in a blue moon, I might run a query just to see something. But I do know that with that said, a lot of people in the Roam community do use queries heavily and really like them and get a lot of great results out of them. So I wanted to make sure to at least touch on them here, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time on them. Number one, just because I candidly don't personally find them all that useful. And number two, I'm just not an expert in them. So I'll be just totally honest. If you're really into queries and you want to kind of dive deep and explore a variety of different use cases, there are other people out there who can cover that more effectively than I can. But let's go ahead and jump in and illustrate these. So what I want to do first to highlight this is, let's say it's throughout the week here and I've gotten a number of these tasks done. Maybe I've scheduled my release announcement, I've performed my final QA review, I emailed Cole, and I've already processed these key takeaways. So I've got a number of tasks that are already done, and I've got a number of tasks here that are still open. By the way, I want to take a small sidebar here, and I realized that in the previous lesson, I didn't mention one other great use of filters that I do is up here. You can see I've got a number of these that are done now. So I'll click on filter, and if I type the word done and hold shift and click, that's going to remove all of those that are complete from the list. So that's kind of a nice use of filters there. But let's put those back in. Thank you for allowing me to go on a little sidebar there. And let's go ahead and enter a couple of queries. So what I want to do to illustrate this is I'm actually going to jump to a different page in the graph. And it doesn't matter where you do this. You can run queries from anywhere in your graph. So I'm just going to arbitrarily pick a date, let's say May 11th. So I'll jump to May 11th. And let's say that for whatever reason on this page that I'm on, I want to see a list of all of the blocks within my graph that are completed to-do items related to a given project. So maybe I've got my ticketing app. In fact, I can think of a more useful example here. Let me jump to the ticketing app launch page. And let's say that, it's in the future, and maybe instead of just two weekly planner entries down here, I've got like 20. And at the top, what I want to do is see a list of all of the completed tasks related to the ticketing app launch. So what I'll do here is type the backslash, and then I'll type the word query, and I'm going to select and. You can see there's or, and not. These are basic Boolean logic constructs. If you're not familiar with those, I would go look them up. They're fairly intuitive. The and is simply going to return results that contain both of the pages that I'm going to enter. And let me show you what I mean there. So query, and you can see here that what it's doing is giving me this kind of ugly string here of parentheses and brackets. And what I need to do is go ahead and within these two double brackets, I'm going to type the words ticketing app launch. So you can see that popped up there. I'll select that. And then I'm going to type here the word done. Okay, that's a completed to do. So now this query is going to go across my entire graph, and it's going to return all of the blocks that are related to the ticketing app launch and are completed. And if I hit return, you'll see the 4 results come up. So it's looking out across a number of different entries here of my weekly planner, and it's returning all of the tasks that are done. Conversely, I could look and see all of the blocks across my graph that are still to-dos. So let me delete that, show me all of the to-dos. Okay, that might be another way that you would use it. Maybe another thing that I want to do is just pull up everything from across my graph that is a quick hit. So what you could do is simply in that case, I believe you could just delete that and just do the single one, quick hit. Just show me everything across the graph that's a quick hit. Okay, so again, queries are just a simple way to go do searches across your graph. If I illustrate maybe one other of those logical constructs, let's delete this query here. I'll type the backslash symbol and type query. And let's just do or, for example. Or is going to return both. So maybe show me everything in the graph that is quick hit or scheduled. I don't know why exactly you would want to do that. Again, I have trouble thinking of useful cases for these personally. It's why I don't get a lot of use out of them. But there you go. That's an or result. So that's going to return either anything that is related to quick hit or anything that is scheduled. So once again, these queries can be used to simply pull information from across your graph. That's the basics of them there. And finally, if you're interested in using those more, I recommend just reaching out in the Roam Reddit or Facebook group or on Twitter. There are a lot of people out there who are very, very good with queries, and again, get a lot of mileage out of them. So I'm not trying to disparage them at all. Again, just for my personal workflow, I don't get a lot of mileage out of queries.